How are you doing on a, well, mostly beautiful Friday in Los Angeles? I want to show you two very quick, very delicious recipes that are going to add so much goodness to your quarantine. And it's great because I'm going to show you how to make a homemade nut and seed milk. And I've been told, and I have found myself, it's really hard to get almond milk in the markets right now. Well, you're going to be so happy to know that it's super easy to make a nut and seed milk from what you have in the house, and it's less expensive, and it's so much more delicious. And then beyond that, if you find yourself a few chia seeds, we can turn it into a chia seed pudding like that, okay? So gonna remind you, this is an interactive class. Please type any questions that you have as we go. When I have a moment and pause, I'll look over here to my computer where I will be able to answer all of your questions. So let's get started. First of all, you could just take a look. I did some in advance. Look at this beautiful nut and seed milk. Let's talk about how we're going to get it started. I personally like to work with a combination of nuts and seeds. Why? One, when you're working with a variation, you get a variation of flavors. Two, my body works a little bit better with seeds than it does with nuts. So I do, some nuts, and then I add some seeds in there as well. I'm like a bird in the sense that I just love seeds so much. So what I start with is 1 cup mixture of nuts and seeds, okay? That's 1 cup mixture. And I start with a 1/2 cup of cashews. So I find cashews turn out super creamy, and they're just really delicious. But guess who is out of cashews? Because I made, to show you guys in advance, I made the chia seed pudding. I am. So I'm going to use some walnuts. Walnuts are going to make it a little bit more bitter, so that, unless you're into walnut milk, which is good, or if you use walnuts, you might want to make it a little sweeter. Or you can use almonds. Use what you've got. So I'm going to use about a 1/2 cup of almonds and cashews together. Then, if you guys have pine nuts are the best. I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of pine nuts. Pine nuts are so delicious in nut milk, okay? So you see how that's forming itself. So we still have a 1/4 cup left, right? And we're going to do 1/2 of that sunflower seeds and 1/2 of that to be pumpkin seeds. So I'm going to do some sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds. I mean, every doctor would tell you how good this is for you to eat, right? And you might eat this as a snack. This would be quite a lot of nuts. We'll turn it into a nut milk. This could almost be like a mini meal for you if you drink all this. We're then going to put it, well, before I use my Vitamix, we're going to put water in here, all right? And I'm going to recommend that you do this at night before you go to bed. All right, I made some last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is going to go into your fridge, and then in the morning you take it out and it will have soaked overnight. All right, so let's just imagine for a moment that this is soaked overnight. It will look the same. They'll just look a little bit puffy. That's all. And we're going to add it into your blender. Now, I am using a Vitamix. I'm not a saleswoman for Vitamix, but probably could be, because honestly, it's just really blends it up very, very well. So you're going to add, if we're using a cup of nuts and seeds, we're going to add about 4 cups of water in total. So about, 4 times the amount of seeds that we have. And here we go. All right. What are we going to add to make this delicious? In order to make this delicious, we're going to add some vanilla, about a teaspoon or a generous capful of vanilla. And we're going to add a couple dates. So here we go with dates. You just want to make sure you get the pit out of them if possible. And we throw those dates in there. And a pinch of sale, always. But why salt in here? Because sea salt is going to bring out the flavors of the dates and the vanilla. That's why. And we're going to put this in our blender, and we're going to blend it for a couple minutes, which the reason that I'm not doing that right now is because you're going to have to sit, you're not going to be able to hear anything, and it's just going to be loud for 2 minutes. So I just want you to imagine that's exactly what happens. Some people strain their nut and seed milk with a nut bag. Too much a pain in the butt. I don't do that. So I just make sure that I soak it overnight and that I blend it really well with my high-powered blender, and voila. So I'm definitely not going to put this to waste. I'm going to just put it in a bowl over here, and I will let this soak on its own and deal with it later. And there we go. And now we're going to continue. Hold on, let me rinse this real quick. Okay. Let's see if we have any questions, and then I am going to show you how to turn that into this delicious chia seed pudding, which is so good. Cannot wait to show it to you guys. Okay, how much water approximately, Tonya asks. You are using 4 times the amount, 3.5 to 4 times the amount of water per nuts and seeds. So I did a cup of seeds, and then you would do 4 cups of water, right? So some of that water might be part of the water that you've had those seeds soaking in overnight. Is the recipe in my book or online, Samantha? This recipe is not in my book. It will be in my future cookbook, but we are, as soon as this is done, we're gonna make sure that I get it online. So it's not, you are like hearing it first. That's the great thing about these online classes, is that I teach you what I get inspired to, sometimes even before it's on my blog. So we'll get it there for you. Alessandro Lionheart said, ciao bella. Alessandro, everybody, Alessandro is actually going to be a guest of mine on these cooking classes, and he is going to be teaching us how to make a pasta like in Italian. So he is an extraordinary soul, human being, and hot. So nothing bad about having hot Italian teaching us to cook. Okay, great. I think, am I draining off the soaked water first? Somebody's asking. That is a great question. I think that's Kate. Here's the thing. If you have it soaked for like 3 days, you're going to need to drain that off. If you just have it soaked overnight, it's okay. That's going to be up to you. What is important is that you soak the water. Is that you soak the nuts. Then if you throw out the water or not, up to you. What if it's for sweets, no dates, honey? Got it. Absolutely, Tonya. You are reading my mind, because I just have put my dates, the last 2 dates in there, and I am now officially out of dates. If you do not have dates, you use honey. You would use honey. That would be my favorite thing. Or what I have is, I'm super excited. I just happened to randomly buy this before quarantine without even thinking. This is a date syrup. So I found it at my health food store at the Santa Monica Co-op. But if you are Persian or have a Persian home or make Persian food, you have date syrup there. So if you're going to a Middle Eastern market, they sell date syrup as well. So yes, but I would say honey, a little coconut sugar. That's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do. Okay, we're moving on. Here we go. So the first thing is if our nut milk tastes good and perfectly sweet to us, we have to remember that once we add the chia seeds and they expand, they're going to need flavor and they're going to need sweetness. So I always start by making chia seed pudding by adding more sweetness to my already delicious nut milk. So let's just sweeten this up. And I'm going to need about, I stopped measuring here. I don't know where my measuring tools went, but I'm going to be using about 2.5 cups of nut milk. And I'm going to add 2 more dates, which translates for me as some date syrup. Again, guys, this is going to be to taste. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be good. And I'm going to add more vanilla. Okay. So now I will actually put this on the Vitamix for just a second to just show you. Someone's asking me, can you use stevia? If you like stevia, you can use it. I'm going to say it's not going to be as good as the date syrup, but it, yeah, you can try it. You can absolutely try a substitute for sugar that you have, and you just have to see if you like it. I don't mind stevia with almond milk, but for somehow in chia seed pudding, it's not my thing. But it's up to you. What is your thing? All right, let's get this stuff out of the way here. And I'm going to just put it in a bowl. And I'm gonna, I'm not measuring exactly right now, you guys, but it's going to be about 2.5 cups. And then we are going to put a generous 1/3 cup of chia seeds. So these are black chia seeds, there are white chia seeds. And just add them in, it's all good. And then you take a whisk and you whisk it together. Now, by the way, what I did not do is I didn't taste this nut milk. It's good, but I'll be honest with you, sometimes for chia seed pudding, you want it even sweeter. So, by the way, I can make it even sweeter right now. I could just go ahead and add more date syrup to it or add a little more honey to it. You could even take a tiny part out and blend it up with the dates. So in there, oh yeah, you see it almost has like a coffee color to it. And that's it. You just cover this and you put this in your fridge overnight, 4 hours at least, but I just do it overnight and voila, you have chia seed pudding. And let me just show you what I have here. What I have here is chia seed pudding and I just want, it's so good. I'm so obsessed. This is the consistency of it. All right, it's like a rice pudding, but with chia seeds. It's so good. So here's the thing. This can be your breakfast. This can be your dessert. For me, it's going to be one of those things. I'm a grazer. I walk by the fridge 100 times a day. I open it up. I see what's there. Sometimes I close it. Sometimes I don't eat anything. Sometimes, I just want to sip. I'm going to like eat this all day. And I'm so excited because I've just made another batch and I'm going to have more. So that's our recipes. Homemade nut and seed milk and chia seed pudding could not be easier. You can obviously, of course, top this with fruit or cacao powder or cinnamon. Look, all those things make it really pretty. I kind of really love it plain. Just not gonna lie, I love it as is. More questions is, can I use maple syrup? Oh, of course. If you like maple syrup and you have maple syrup, that's fabulous. All right, as far as I can see, that is all the questions that I have from you guys. And I just want to wish you a delicious, creamy, omega-rich quarantine. And remind you, if you are looking to become a badass in the kitchen and know how to cook without recipes from this Italian-inspired denim-covered book, teaching you how to make a soup from anything and pasta from anything. Very hard. Amazon's a little slow, but we're shipping it from my website with 20% off. Code is all caps Kitchen Badass. All right. I love you. Continue to send me your requests. I want to know what it is you want to cook. And if I've got it in my house, I will teach you to make it. Thumbs up emoji. There we go. All right. Spread the love. Cook with love and spread the love.